What's up guys, welcome back to the video. Today we're talking all about the new Saragossa SWA by Shimano. All the good things, all the bad things, who's it for, what else is out there, and do I recommend it? So stick around, let's get into it. So here it is, this is the new Saragossa SWA. It comes in 8 sizes, including 2 new sizes, the 14,000 and the 18,000, which is really good for your offshore guys chasing GTs, mackerel, all sorts of pelagics. You can see it's been on a bit of a diet. It's a bit of a compact body design in this new reel. They've really shrunk it down, and that's saved on weight. Just as an example, this is the new 6,000, and this weighs in at 455 grams, whereas the old 6,000 weighed in at 595 grams, which is ridiculously heavy. So really gonna help with casting all day and holding this reel in your hand all day, which is a really good thing. So the SWA features the cross carbon drag. It was in the older model. If it's not broke, don't fix it. It's a really good system, super smooth, also under high pressures and really durable. And they've done something with the drag clicker. Have a listen to that. That's a really good loud drag clicker, which I'm a fan of, and I'm sure everyone else will be as well. There are a few new features that they've brought to this new SWA series. It features the X-Protect, which was a feature of the old one. However, they've upgraded it slightly, and the body of this reel has received an IPX8 rating, which is awesome. The Labyrinth system, basically, it's a bunch of crevices or whatever, how they do it, it's technical, with water repellent in it, and it helps to shield out the water. And supposedly the line roller bearing is 10 times more durable than the old one, which is awesome because the line roller bearing is always the first thing to go, and no one likes fishing with that bloke with a noisy line roller bearing on the boat. It's a no-go, so this is really good for that. So the headline new technology coming to the SWA is the Infinity Drive. It's a trickle down from the Stella SWC series, and basically all it does is improve support on the pinion to deliver smoother and more powerful cranking. So when you're on those big fish trying to get line back, or even just retrieving lures, it's a lot nicer and a lot easier to do so. So what do I like about the reel? First of all, it's much lighter. I mentioned it before, they've shaved considerable weight from this reel to make it much more competitive in the marketplace against companies like Daiwa with the release of things like the BGMQ. Seeing as I fish from a kayak a lot, my gear does tend to get a fair bit of salt spray. So not having to baby it so much and not being worried about getting a lot of salt ingress and corrosion in this reel is a big up. I really like the fact that there's no more parallel reel foot. It wasn't a huge issue in the old models. It just enables this reel to be matched up with a wider variety of rods with the angle of the shaft, the first stripper guide. So you can put it on your favorite stick and it's more than likely going to work really well. And lastly, I've been over it before, but it's this loud, beefy drag clicker. I don't think that noise does it justice in the microphone. It really does sound good in person, and it's the little things that make it feel nice when you're out on the water fishing, and hearing that drag when you're onto a good fish, it's really good. So I mentioned it as a pro, and that was the weight. I'm also going to mention it as a con. It is still not the lightest reel around at 455. It's manageable, it's great, it's a big improvement, but it still isn't in that class of reels. And it's only really 50 grams, which doesn't sound like much, but it can be quite noticeable after a full day casting on the water. So it's not a huge deal breaker by any means, but it is a little bit heavy. The other thing is it's still quite agricultural. It's a much smoother reel. That Infinity Drive helps with the resistance, or the lack of resistance when you're winding the handle. But I find I've got a little bit of handle play in this, and it makes some funky noises. I'm not sure what it is, I'm not technical, but there's a bit of a click, and I think it's at the top of the oscillation stroke. I'd say, I don't know if agricultural is the right word, it's still a pretty refined reel, but there are more refined saltwater reels out there. In saying that, at its price point, you can't really go too wrong. This particular model is $409, not a cheap reel, not an expensive reel. It sits in that lower mid-range, and it does what it should do. It's a workhorse reel. You're going to go out there, you're going to be in the salt, it's going to be in tough environments, and it's going to perform day in and day out, and that's really what you ask of a reel with the Saragossa name on it. It's what it's designed for, it's what it's built its reputation on, and for that I think it is definitely a reel worth having in your arsenal. Now there is one thing I will mention. There is a reel on the market, not on the Australian market. It's a JDM reel. It's called the Stradic Saltwater, and it is basically a carbon copy of the Saragosa. As far as I can tell, it's hard because I haven't actually had one in my hands. I actually have the 4000 size Stradic Saltwater. It's more of a Stradic FL than it is a Saragosa. But once you step to that 5000 size in the Stradic Saltwater, it's pretty much, as far as I can tell from all the features, weights, all that kind of thing, the same as this reel. Only difference being a different handle. It's got the CR4 handle, which is really nice. I think it saves a bit of weight, but other than that, the only reason I might go for the Stradic Saltwater is for the difference in gear ratios, particularly in the 6000 size. In the Australian market, this Saragosa is only offered in a HG, which is the high gearing. It's a 5.7 to 1 ratio. In the Stradic Saltwater, there's a PG, which stands for power gear, and it's more of like a jigging reel. It's a low speed gear. There's also the HG, which is the same gearing as this one, and then they have an XG, which is awesome for your plugging, casting, stick baits, poppers, all that kind of thing. So it just gives that extra versatility and a bit more specificity into what you want that reel to do for you. But in saying that, if that doesn't matter, I would definitely recommend support local. I'm not talking about big box, I'm talking about your local tackle stores. The guys who will sit down or stand there and talk to you for hour upon hour, give you all the advice. They're the guys that deserve your money. So definitely head down to your local tackle store, check these reels out. I don't think you'll be disappointed. So thanks for watching, guys. If you enjoyed that video, let me know. Leave a comment, drop a like, and if you want to see more of this thing, subscribe to the channel. This was the first review I've done, so sort of felt my way through it, but if you like it, definitely let me know, and I've got plenty of gear I want to talk about, so we'll try and get a few more out. Thanks for watching, guys.